Well, the crypto market just absolutely kicked Granny straight down the stairs as Bitcoin's price fell from $106,000 all the way down to near $100,000 within just a couple hours. Now, as this big pullback has occurred, we have seen an absolute decimation of long traders as we've now seen over $590 million worth of liquidations just in the last 4 hours, almost $765 million within the last 24 hours, with these long traders getting absolutely wrecked. And as this price pullback has been occurring, and many of you in the comments and in my DMs and everywhere on here on Instagram, whatever, are asking me, Tyler, what is going on? And so what I wanted to do very quickly is make this video for you explaining exactly what's going on, what I'm doing right now, and what I'm expecting next, okay? And so with that in mind, let's go ahead and let's kick it off. And I want to start it off by bringing you back to this video. I want to start this off by bringing you back to this video. Crypto warning, you're about to be trapped. This was a video I posted right around 2 days ago. And in this video, I told you, listen, while Bitcoin's price is going sideways, and while things feel good, and while things are kind of chopping sideways, I'm not falling for the bait. I'm not falling for the trap. Because as Bitcoin's price was going sideways, I started to recognize that there were billions of dollars in liquidation starting to build up on both sides of Bitcoin's price, and that was going to be the perfect formula for some huge moves in either direction, liquidating everybody in the area. And in that video, my primary thing that I told you was, listen, be careful and probably de-risk. Pull back on high leverage trades. No high leverage trades because it's too dang on risky. And just 48 hours later, again, we have now seen Bitcoin's price fall from over $106,000 all the way down to nearly $100,000. So for those of you who did de-risk back here, those of you who did scale back that leverage after this video, big congratulations to you. We dodged a bullet on that one. But hindsight's 2020. What now? Bitcoin's price is now right around, at the time of recording, $101,000, leaving many people wondering, what now? Well, I don't particularly think that this is surprising, and I think this is actually going rather similarly to what we've talked about several times. Because as you all know, I have had a consistent thesis this entire month, this entire year. You know, many creators, they'll bounce back and forth between bullish and bearish, but my thesis has remained the same. I told you when Bitcoin's price was in this ascending channel that at some point, I think it's going to break down out of it. And once it breaks down out of it, I think there are going to be a couple bounce zones, which are going to be extremely likely for Bitcoin's price to try to use as support to try to continue back up higher, either to the all-time high or past it. And when that move to the downside did happen, as we figured it would, I laid out these 3 bounce zones for you. The first one being between 105 and 102K, the second one being between 97 and 93K, the third one being between 88 and 86K. And I told you that bounce zone 1 is weaker than bounce zone 2, and bounce zone 2 is weaker than bounce zone 3. So my plan is to do tiny dollar cost averages at bounce zone 1, bigger dollar cost averages at bounce zone 2, and much bigger dollar cost averages at bounce zone 3. And the reason why I did that is just to try to reinvest some of the profits that we took during this pump. All these red dots are when we were selling. Reinvest some of the profits that we took during this pump back in at lower prices to try to compound our growth. Okay? And so now, while we're in this situation in which Bitcoin's price is falling below bounce zone 1, trying to seemingly head towards bounce zone 2 at 97K, I'm not all that surprised. Because again, I told you, bounce zone 1 is the weakest of the bounce zones. It's a bounce zone, so yeah, there is the possibility it rallies, but it's not a very high one. And the truth is, bounce zone 1 is almost more like a speed bump, to where, you know, you're coming back down to life and the bears are taking over, but the bulls will step in right here to try to slow this bad boy down in order to attempt to slow it down as it goes lower, right? And so gladly, although we did do some dollar cost averages over the last week or so, they weren't very big because we knew bounce zone 1 is not extremely strong. And the likelihood is that as you go lower into some of these other bounce zones, then you have a really good chance at pushing to the upside. And so what am I doing right now? Well, I'm just sticking to the same plan that we've had. My plan all along has been to do some small dollar cost averages at bounce zone number 1, bigger ones at bounce zone number 2, and even bigger ones at bounce zone number 3. And so Bitcoin's price falling right now doesn't scare me. Why would it? What's so scary about it? It lost a weak zone of support, and so now it's heading to a stronger one. Who cares? You have to thicken that skin up a little bit because you can't get freaked out by things like this. This is normal. And in addition to the fact that we are heading down towards, you know, what could be 97,000, which is a super strong level of support, one thing you also have to consider is that we're seeing very good signs from our indicators. Look at the RSI. The 4-hour RSI has absolutely nosedived below the 30% threshold. This means that the RSI is now in oversold territory. At the same time that that is happening, your 4-hour Bollinger Bands are extremely extended to the downside. Your daily Bollinger Bands are extremely extended to the downside. Your daily RSI has fallen below the 50% threshold. And now you're currently seeing, of course, liquidations really balancing back out in the sense that all of the liquidation weight rests to the upside. And so in a moment like this, no, I'm not freaking out. I'm not worrying. I'm not panicking. I'm looking at this like, okay, yeah, that's about what we figured. We're losing the first bounce zone. We're seemingly trying to head towards the second bounce zone. We're getting extremely oversold the lower that we get. Bitcoin's price is putting in what seems to me to be a descending parallel channel, as you can see here. All of these things saying, not so bad. And so my strategy right now is to stick to the strategy, stick to the plan. I do love the fact that we're seeing Bitcoin's price resetting. I do love the fact that we're seeing this descending channel forming. Why? Because it makes it more likely that as we get lower and lower within these bounce zones that we're going to see this thing bounce, which is the whole point. So if you're following through on the strategy and if you're following through on what the market is giving us, well, you shouldn't really be all too freaked out right now. You should actually be looking at this as an opportunity, especially if you're one of the people who had been around for a while, especially for the last couple of months. We got cash to work with. Again, all of the red bubbles are where we've taken profit. All of the green bubbles are where we reinvested some of it. And since we took so much profit along the way, now we're in a spot to where we can just reinvest some of that cash, let this puppy keep pulling back, hit these bounce zones, find some support, reinvest back in, and then try to ride that upwards. That's what we've been doing for years. That's what we'll continue to do. And I know I sound kind of nonchalant in this video, like I don't care, but the truth is I don't, guys. This is what we come to expect. The market will do crazy things. It's going to rip down and rip up. It's going to liquidate everybody in its path. But if you can zoom out enough to see the big picture, it's not all that scary at all. And the fact that we're seeing such a beautiful structure forming in this descending parallel channel, we're seeing beautiful structure forming on the 4-hour RSI, we're seeing beautiful structure forming on that 4-hour Bollinger Band. It just tells me that it's very likely that Bitcoin's gonna try to bounce at some point and try to chase down all these people who are too confident that the market's gonna keep crashing. And so what am I doing right now? I'm just buying a little bit more. I did some small DCAing last week on the 30th and the 1st of June. And now that Bitcoin's price has fallen below bounce zone number 1, I've done a little bit of dollar cost averaging right here at the bottom half of this descending parallel channel. And so earlier today, I actually did go in, as I told the Discord community. I said Bitcoin's price just pulled back towards 101K. The 4-hour RSI absolutely nuked. Now that we are below my first bounce zone, I've done another tiny dollar cost average here, and I'm planning on increasing the DCA size if/when Bitcoin hits the next bounce zone. And so I did a tiny one here, and if it goes all the way down to 97K, which is right around here, I'm going to do some much bigger DCAs the lower that it gets. Very simple. There's no need to overcomplicate it. There's no need to make it super complex. There's no need to look at every single indicator under the sun. Look at the general structure of the market. We had an absolutely disgusting ascending channel. We've broken down out of it. Now we are correcting and running into our support levels. We're going to try to then use those support levels to run back to the upside. And this is going to be when the bulls and the bears have a fight to see if we can do it or not. That's all that's happening. So no need to make it all scary and all this other stuff. I see all this news. People, the top is in, we're going back down, blah, blah, blah. No one knows that yet. That's not confirmed yet. That's just nonsense. People are just friggin' fear-mongering. It's annoying. Bitcoin's just making a typical reset. And the RSI shows that. The MACD shows that. Bollinger Bands show that. Elliot's Wave even shows that. Elliot's Wave says that we could be in a macro fourth wave. Elliot's Wave said that we could have had our first wave here, our pullback on our 2, our push up on our 3, a pullback on our 4, and a continuation on our 5. And that this could also just be a more micro reset off of this tiny 5 wave that we put in right here. So every single indicator that I see says this is normal. And so is it worth freaking out about? No. Is it worth panicking about? No. Is it worth panic selling in? No. Quite frankly, I'm doing the opposite. I'm just dollar cost averaging a little bit as we go lower and lower and lower, expecting one of these zones to try to push us up, and then we'll go from there. Okay. And so that's my update for the day. We're going to keep it real short. We're going to keep it real simple. That's what we're going to do. If you do want to do a little bit of trading, you can check out that link to BTCC. If you know trading, you know how good of a deal this is. Up to $10,000 per user and 40% lower trading fees. It doesn't get much better than that. So feel free to go check that out down below. And if you do want to see the things that I am doing, like I announced that I was purchasing earlier today in the Discord server, if you do want to see those things, the link to that is also down in the description. It's the Crypto Strategy School. As you can see, the little sign back there. So I hope you guys have been enjoying these updates. Sorry that I'm not super emotional or passionate in this video. I just don't see a reason to be. Bitcoin's price pulled back a little bit. It's going to its bounce zones. Prices resetting after the ascending channel, this is normal. It's not a huge deal. So I'll keep you updated as it all does play out. Keep your head on straight, guys. Not that bad. This isn't that freaky at all. It gets much worse, trust me. And I'll be here updating you along the way. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.